You've tuned in to the Heart to Heart. You're now tuned in. What are you tuned into? Right, I've got it. You've tuned in to the Heart to Heart podcast with myself, Andy, and Mouse, diving into behind the scenes of a creative mind, from the highs to the lows and the trials and tribulations that they face on a day-to-day basis. So sit back, enjoy, as the episode's about to begin. But please note, there is explicit content within. Olly?
I'm not too bad. Yourself?
Very good, mate. Very good.
Yeah, good. What's the day been up to for you then? What you been up to?
Oh God, packing orders. I did my charity launch the other week, this time last week. So I've just spent the entire day just packing constantly. I never want to see a roll of sellotape in my life again, essentially. But yeah, just busy. Just literally got back from post office about 20 minutes ago, 25 minutes ago. Just been non-stop.
Cool.
How about you? You been all right?
Good. Quiet day today. Just getting ready for this.
Nice. Looking forward to it. It's my first time I've done a podcast. It's all new to me. It's art stuff. So yeah, I was telling people at work, I'm off on a podcast this weekend, and they're all just a bit like, what on earth?
Well, don't get too excited, because me and Mouse have fucking no idea what we're doing. So there's three of us in the same boat here, mate. No, I'm sure it'll be successful by the end of it. So, right, on that note, what we want to do is, to start the podcast off, we're going to kind of do like a bit of an uncomfortable round where we fire a few questions over to you. You answer them best you possibly can, and then we kind of get into like your backstory and where it all began and stuff. So, are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead. Bring it on.
Right. First question. Favorite porn site?
Oh my God, that is a bit.
Come on, Olly, we all watch it.
I mean, fucking hell, I don't know. There's too many.
Oh, you're more of a magazine man. Are you old school? Do you go magazine style?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
He's a magazine man. Yeah. He's the old nuts man.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, biggest fear.
Being alone. As weird as that sounds.
Being alone.
Okay. I don't like being isolated.
Right. Cool. Secret crush.
Are we talking celebrity or anything?
Yes. Oh, well, fucking hell. If you want to throw it out there and it's anybody, just be careful, mate. I hope it ain't your fucking missus's best mate.
I can't remember her name. But I remember as a kid, Nigella Lawson, the chef, the TV chef.
That
was like a sexual awakening for me as a kid, and ever since then.
Right, okay. So you were like hid behind the couch, kind of scratching your cards.
Yeah.
Right, cool. So next one, a country that you wouldn't like to visit.
I mean, Ukraine's the standard, isn't it? But what I wouldn't like to visit.
Yeah.
Actually, where would I not want to visit? The idea of like, I don't know, America for some reason. I just don't think I want to go.
You're probably do you know what? You're probably the only person that I've heard say that. I'd love to go to America. You're like, actually, fuck America. I don't want to go there.
There's nothing about it. But there is obviously New York, but like, I don't know. There seems to be just a lot of shit there, and I'd like to go somewhere with a lot more.
Well, that leads me on to my next question. Have you ever had a wild poo?
A wild poo? Oh, of course. I've been camping many a time using a leaf.
He's a seasoned wild pooer.
Yeah,
he's a seasoned wild pooer with the old picking out his dock leaves.
Yeah.
Right, well, that's it. We've got you over kind of some uncomfortable questions. We all had a bit of a giggle, so we'll get into it.
Yeah.
So basically, where did it all start? What do you do? You know, how did you kind of progress into what you're doing now? So kind of just date us back, and that's it. We'll give you free rein to kind of tell us a story.
So it kind of started last year. It all kicked off Valentine's Day last year. I bought my partner a typewriter, an old blue. It was an Imperial typewriter, gorgeous machine. And she used to type letters to friends. And I always used to watch her like on an evening when she'd type, and I'm like, oh, this machine looks well cool. I'd love to have a go on it. I remember sat in front of it. We're about August time last year. And I was sat there and I was like, oh shit, I've got no one to write to. Who do I write a letter to? I've got no one who uses letters anymore. And I was listening to Self-Control by Frank Ocean, one of my favorite tracks. I just had it on in my earphones. I thought, I'll just type what I can hear. So I was just typing the lyrics out. I thought, oh, it's quite fun. It was quite therapeutic. It put my mind off things. And I think like 40 minutes had passed and it just didn't feel like 40 minutes. And I was just listening to music. And I thought, oh, I wonder if I could make this into a shape. So I sketched out a love heart on a piece of paper, put it in typewriter and tried to follow the lines of it. And it looked absolutely dreadful, but I thought, if I practice at this, I maybe can make some out of it. Made a love heart, like, it's quite cool. And then just slowly progressed into harder and harder shapes. And eventually I used to have the vinyl of Frank Ocean above my desk. And I drew that out. I thought, oh, I wonder if I could have a go at doing that. So I tried to imagine it as black and white. And then all the dark space, I just started typing. And then lo and behold, I think I stuck with it for a month. It's the longest I've ever stuck with like an art thing. I'd always liked to do art. I tried my hand at like lino printing and all sorts. This was the longest I'd ever stuck with something. Because I just, for some reason in the back of my head, I thought, oh, this is going to look quite cool if it's how I envisaged it. And then cut to about September, October last year, I'd finished it. I was really, really happy with it. And then I posted it on a group I know Mouse is familiar with, which is called The Basement. And then ever since there, I just thought, oh, it's quite nice. I like it. I wonder if anyone else would like it. And it was like-minded people who were into that type of music. And then since then, it's kind of just, I wouldn't say blown up, but it's done really well.
I think that's fair to say blown up. I said the first place I seen you was on The Basement. And it must have been one of your first pieces, and it was getting thousands of likes, or at least 1,000. And it blew my mind. I seen it and I immediately gave you a follow. I thought I'm gonna have to see where this goes.
But yeah, since then, and then it was very much just, who am I listening to? So I literally just go on Spotify and I'll just scroll through Spotify and go, oh, I've been listening to this person quite a lot. And I'll just do some doodles. I'll do some drawing and they look utter rubbish. And I'll type it and it'll never see the light of day. But the ones you see on my Instagram are the ones I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm happy with them. So it has been a long year. Like I says, I think it was the 14th of November was like since I posted that thing on The Basement. So it's been just over a year. A lot's happened and it's been brilliant because I've been finally able to stick with some art I enjoy.
So this was initially, it was never the plan then.
No,
so you didn't kind of have this like pre-thought and thought, do you know what? Because obviously you've done art for a while. You've got like an artistic background, like you say. So you'd never. But then this just kind of came about.
Yeah.
You posted that one time. Yeah. You liked the format and how it all turned out, and then that was it. You just rolled with it.
Yeah, I was like, fucking hell, people actually like it, and I kind of got that endorphin of like, holy shit, people are liking my work.
I want to do more.
I want to do more. I want to keep chasing that feeling, and it just hasn't stopped. Like I said, it was never my plan to be an artist, I guess is the thing to define it. It was just, I could come home from work and I could switch off, and like I said, 40 minutes felt like 5 minutes just typing. Being that way to switch off.
A year later, how has your kind of mindset changed then? So a year down the line, what's the plan kind of like?
I just want to see how far I can take it, really. I don't have ambitions of being rich and famous. I know with my job, I'm a primary school teacher, as you know, I'd never quit teaching. Everyone always asks me, would you quit teaching? I say no.
Would you not?
No, never. I'd never quit it. I'd possibly teach part-time, but I'd never want to leave the classroom, because it's just, when I grew up and growing up, my dad was always saying, you want a job you wake up and you want to go to, and I've not had that day yet in teaching where I've not wanted to go into work. So maybe when that day comes along, maybe when I have a proper shit day, then maybe, yeah, but I'm still, and I'm just trying to achieve that balance between being able to do my art on an evening and do teaching, essentially.
Have you found the art taking over more and more of your spare time though? That's
I have. Yeah, there has been times where it's becoming, this is becoming another job, and I don't want it to be a job. Like I said today, I like just making stuff. I like just typing. I don't find the thrill of packing orders and things along those lines, and doing all those little social media is the bane of my life. I absolutely despise social media, just because it's all about that idea of relevancy. And I know you'll both know, if you don't post once a week, you don't post frequently,
your engagement drops.
And you just fade into the abyss, and it's like so
you've got to be persistently on the ball with it, and it absolutely, it does my fucking tits in his mouse knows. I'm constant every day. I think he's like my counsellor. I'll ring him up and I'll be like, Mouse, fucking hell, mate, I've had enough. He's like, no, listen, just don't quit. You're doing the right thing, and blah, blah. And it drives me fucking potty.
It does, and especially like with one of my pieces, especially because I can only work on it at evenings. If after work, it can take upwards of 2 weeks to a month between each piece, and that's what do I fill that gap with? So it's either I'm having to shit them out and I'm not happy with the quality, but I've realised, and going back to your question, I just want to do stuff I'm proud of and stuff I'm happy with. So I am just thinking, if people like it, people like it. Again, my goal was never to blow up and be millions and millions of followers. It's still something for me, and if people like it and want to join me on the way, go ahead. I really appreciate it.
So this is interesting because you've obviously got the talent. When we kind of got introduced at the first exhibition that me and Mouse were doing, and you kind of rocked up, saw your stuff, and I was just blown away by it. We're like, wow, this is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like this before. So for you to kind of still be at that level after a year of not kind of wanting to take it to that, because you could, and if you did, you'd soon find that it'd my God, it'd just explode. You know what I mean? It's just interesting the fact that, does she?
Yeah, she's saying like, you could just sack it off and just do this for a year out, just take a year off and see how it goes. But I don't know. I'm always worried about. I always overthink shit. I always think I like my security. I like my job. I go to work. I come home. I don't know.
Well, we'll move into the next topic then, because we've kind of jumped on from my notes and stuff. But because you mentioned that, we'll kind of go down that avenue now, and then backtrack to other opportunities that you've been blessed with. So, like you said, you're very comfortable with like your securities and your surroundings and stuff like that. Now, is that like obviously a form of suffering with anxiety, and in regards to a mental health aspect, like what avenues do you kind of face on a daily basis to stop you from kind of taking to that next level?
Yeah, I think it is that anxiety, it's that worry. I always need kind of reassurance of myself, thinking, am I on the right tracks? Am I doing what I should be doing for the 26-year-old? Am I on track, essentially? And like many other people, my idea is, if you've got a job and a stable job, you're fine. And I think if someone pulled the rug from underneath me, I'd spend more time worrying about finding that next sale or finding that thing. And that'd take the whole idea of art away from me. I think the whole idea of art is just doing it because you want to do it and doing it because you love it. So it does go back to the idea of that anxiety. I think if that rug was pulled from under me, art would shift from something I love to a means to make ends, essentially. And it's something I've had a long time. Again, that whole idea of mental health. I'm not ashamed. I'll openly say I've had some shit times. And that's why I love doing this, because I can switch off from the shit times. And if I jeopardize that it no longer becomes my switch off, what else do I have? And then I still try to cherish that moment of just sitting on my own with some earphones in, and I don't want to jeopardize that and make it a worry, make it a...
So that's kind of like your like trigger to go to, when you kind of still kind of getting to them points on a daily basis. This is kind of your safe haven where you can just kind of like float away. Now, if you progress and take that further, are you worried that then, like you said, that's going to be taken away? Then what have you got?
It's
where do
like
you go from there?
It's almost like a treat, and I like to treat myself with that. Like I said, like you were saying, at the end of the day, I had some tough days. I'm just like, at least I can go home and just spend an hour or two just typing and listening to music, and it's that I can just switch off from the world and ignore everything around me. So it's one of those. And like you said, if it became my job, would I still treat it the same way? Would I treat it as just as work, essentially?
It's crazy, because I kind of get it. I mean, I've suffered with mental health and stuff like that, so I kind of totally understand where you're coming from. But then to see you in such a tie of like using it as kind of a mental health trigger and something that you enjoy personally, and then kind of wanting to keep hold of that and not kind of fully throw it out into the wild. But then if you did, oh my days, like your avenues would be endless. You'd just be like at Spaghetti Junction, where so much kind of going on and opportunities. Like me and Mouse have talked behind the scenes, and your name comes up a hell of a lot, doesn't it, Mouse? With just kind of the work that you're producing and stuff. And again, we have the ones to watch, and you're on the watch list, you know what I mean? But then speaking to you now, it's really interesting that obviously, you're still after the year, you're still at that kind of stage where you kind of, well, shall I shout? I don't know what to do still. If I were you, I'd be fucking gun-hoing. I'd be going for it.
This is it.
You know what I mean?
You got a very sort of special thing that a lot of artists are looking for. Like, this is again something you and me talk about a lot, Andy. Is so we always say that if you can describe an artist to someone in words, and like they can then go onto Instagram and find them just off the words you've said, then you're onto something. Like if I say to someone, "Oh, you know the typewriter guy, the guy who does the words," everyone knows what I mean immediately.
I had an instance where I did this thing, and I know you wanted to talk about it later, this clothing thing. I went to this studio just outside of Kirkstall, and I didn't have a clue what to expect. I were early, and I just knocked on the door, and this bloke came and went, "You're that typewriter fella." I was like, "Fuck you."
No, this is it.
Hey. We'll go into that then. So how did that come about? So you got this opportunity, obviously. I mean, I don't know too much about it, only kind of what you briefly put on your page, and same as Mouse. So just get us into that. Like, how did it all come about, and what's it about? And obviously, I know you might be able to only say certain things, but just dive into that then.
So I don't know how much I can say, because hopefully it's soon. It was the beginning of August, so at the beginning of my summer holidays. Which is a great time for me, because I've got that 6 week away from school where I can just churn stuff out and really get involved with it. But this bloke messaged me from a brand in Manchester called Episodes. I've got the hoodie on.
He's repping.
I'm repping it already. But he messaged me saying, "Oh, I've seen your work on The Basement on that Facebook group. Followed you since you've posted that Frank Ocean one, and we think your work would be great to put on some clothing." Now, the first reason I joined Yeah.
I need to get on this basement, mate.
Yeah.
I'm missing something here, aren't I?
The reason I joined the basement and the reason is just clothes. I'm obsessed. So at university, I used to buy and sell shoes and just to make ends meet. And one of my goals is, I remember, I don't know where, I've got a notebook somewhere in January this year, when it just started to pick up. I thought, I want to write myself some targets of what I want to try and achieve with this, just as like reassurance, something to work towards. And one of them was clothing. And I thought, oh crap. So it was 6 pieces they commissioned. And it was great because it was all about the artist. It wasn't just, we want to put some screen prints on a t-shirt. It was, what is this to you? Similar to what you're, like the questions you're asking me. What does this art mean to you, essentially, and why do you do it? And it resonated quite well with me. So it was music that helps me switch off and music that inspires me. So I'm sure it'll be released within the next few weeks, but it was like Lauryn Hill was one of my all-time favorites. Miss Education of Lauryn Hill is undisputedly one of my favorite albums. Biggie and Tupac, obviously, 2 massive things, because I love rhyme, I love rhythm, and that's what I like typing, seeing all the different rhyme schemes. And then 2 artists I always go to is Frank Ocean and obviously Tyler, the Creator. So I commissioned those 6 pieces and then just put them on clothing, really. And even blankets, because they blew the work up on a massive scale. And you could see every little letter on this huge blanket. So
wicked!
I'm so excited.
They keep slowly but surely sending me teasers. And if you haven't already, it's called Episodes. It's this brand. It's absolutely amazing.
You know, when this gets released,
will
you have a discount code that you can flash us our way, please?
I think you can, sure. But yeah, it was brilliant, and the whole process of seeing my work come from something I just typed on a piece of paper to suddenly going into mock-ups and then having it in hand of this is something I've made. I've always loved clothes, like I said, and the fact that I played a part in making something, just amazing. It is brilliant. And the 2 blokes over at that company, it's just run by 2 lads, and they're absolutely sound, and like you, they've just got passion for what they do, and they just wanted it to really pop off and really go up. So fingers crossed.
Wicked. So when can we expect this? Because it'll probably come out before this episode's released. So
hopefully people will be able to see this.
Yes, I am hoping. They said like they wanted to do it before Christmas, so I'm praying like the start of December. And the last update I had was they were just doing the final like product photography.
Wicked.
Fingers crossed it gets dropped soon. But who knows? You never know with these things.
So just off the back of that, so you said that this opportunity came from the basement.
Yes.
It's a bit of a wild group, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
What other things have you had from it, and kind of just for people that don't know what it is, sort of elaborate on what the basement is, because it really can sort of kickstart people up.
It can, yeah. I joined when did I join? 2017. So it was a thing, like I said, when I was at university, I used to buy and sell shoes, and originally it was this like streetwear group where people shared clothes they were trying to sell. I was big into the brand Supreme, and everyone used to like post Supreme, what they used to sell, and I used to buy and sell through this thing, and shoes as well. And since then, the community slowly evolved into this idea of these ideas and these creatives wanting to pick themselves up and share the work, and it's just this whole culture which I kind of immerse myself into. So from music to clothes to just everyday things, and then obviously you've got the group itself has just got some people, like-minded people. I know a big thing was they did like a launch party in Leeds, and I went along to that, and it was weird just seeing all of these people in this group from this Facebook group. And like you said, it was the typewriter guys here. Look, there's that typewriter guy from the basement. And it was just strange. I was like, but it's I always go back to it. And every time I post on the basement, whenever I do some work, I'll always put at the bottom, thanks to you lot I'm being able to do this and I'm still loving what I'm doing. And I genuinely couldn't thank that community enough. I remember I did a piece where every single person who liked my first post, so your name's in it as well, Mouse. I typed every single person's name who liked that first ever post into like the logo of the basement, just as a thing, because it was just like a fucking hell, thank you. I really appreciate it, and it was fun to do. It was interesting to see all these different people. It was such a nice piece. But
that's class. Mouse got shout out.
I feel special. I really do.
Wicked. Right. Well, on that note, then, we'll keep a lookout for that.
Yeah.
So moving on to obviously another piece that you've recently just done, the Matt Miller piece. Now, you've done a percentage of this takings that you've put towards the Andy's Man Club.
Yes.
So elaborate, give us why Andy's Man Club and what made you do this particular piece and yeah, what it means to you and what you kind of wanted to get out of it, sort of thing.
I think I've always wanted the idea of, I don't know, it feels strange that everyone always gives me this support and shares my work and goes out of the way to comment these nice things. And as much as I'd love to spend all time of the day individually going up to these people and thanking them and saying thank you so much for just being there, I always had this idea in the back of my head saying I want to try and give back and do something as much as possible. And I thought, yeah, I'd love to try and use it as a charity, and I thought something what means well to me. And the whole point of doing this typewriter was because it helps with my mental health and it helps, like we said, unwind me and relax me. So I wanted to just help out with that. And Andy's Man Club, for those who don't know, is a charity based in the UK, mainly Yorkshire to start with, but it is spreading across the country. And it's essentially just a space where blokes go and just have the talk, really. And then the whole idea, the catchphrase is it's okay to not be okay and stuff like that. And I remember there was a point in my life where I'd just finished university and I did this placement at school, and not naming names or anything, but I had an awful time of it. I really didn't like it. And I just graduated university and I was like, I've just trained 3 years to do this as a job, and I've just had one of the worst experiences of my life doing it. As in
what? What do you mean?
It was more the fact that just the people working there at that place, essentially, they weren't supportive or anything along those lines. And I was kind of just thrown into the deep end, and there was like sink or swim, essentially. And when I was sinking, there was no hand there to help me. I felt I'd only been teaching I hadn't been professionally teaching ever. And I just had an awful time. I was coming home and I was like, this is awful. And it was hard because I didn't really understand why. I'd always had this picture in my mind of I wanted to teach because I really wanted to help people. And it was quite ironic that these teachers who you see as to help people, they weren't other teachers. And I just fell into a rut, and it hit. I graduated uni, and the next day I was just like, I don't even know if I want to teach anymore. And I was so conflicted of what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go.
Do you just feel lost?
Yeah, I felt lost. So I just thought, and I fell in this thing with this anxiety idea, and I just saw this post in the local village when I was walking through, and it was this Andy's Man Club at Castleford Tigers ground, which is where they meet, and Castleford's my local town. I thought I'd just go. I just walked past it one day and it was on. So I just walked in and didn't bear to think about the whole idea of worrying about it. I just threw myself in and hoped it'd be there for me, and it helped massively. It was, they understood, they listened, and there was like, yeah, we understand why that'd be so upsetting for you. And then they just talk about other stuff, and it just make you feel comfortable, and it made you feel like you're not alone. And I didn't have this pressure on my shoulders. So because I did all that, and because they helped me massively, I've always supported, and I've always gone to these clubs, or they call it, these meets, and just chatted really. And it's nice to see people who are in the same situation as me, as evolving and moving on, but still staying back to this idea of Andy's Man Club.
Yeah.
So I always had it in my mind, like I said, I wanted to give back. So I thought, when I released this artwork, I thought I want to donate to charity. And the first charity that jumped to mind, obviously, this Andy's Man Club. So I did it on Mac Miller, one of my favourite artists. Again, his music speaks to me, not to sound pretentious. But it is all about the whole idea of, especially his most recent album after his passing, was all about his internal demons and his internal struggles, and again resonated with me. So I created this piece and I shared it, and I thought, if people like this, this is a perfect piece to go ahead with and share to charity. So I did. People loved it. Again, posted on the basement to get an understanding. Again, people were saying, do it, I'd buy one straight away. So I printed 18, and only 18 of them, and listed them up on my Etsy, and I think they sold out in just under 48 hours, all 18 of them.
Bloody hell.
That's impressive, Ollie. That's really impressive.
So yeah, that was very surreal. I was sat just about to post the listing. I said to my other half, I said, I don't even think I'm going to sell them all. And whether I just post it, you'll never know. And as soon as I posted it, my Etsy site just like crashed. I was like, oh shit. And then yeah, it just sold. And
brilliant.
So what I've been doing today is just packing them up, and everyone I've packed up, I've just put a message saying thank you, I really appreciate it. Only you're supporting my work, but I just want you to know that it's going to a cause that means a lot to me. It means the world to me, does this, and it really helps. That I'm trying my hardest to give as much back as possible, because they've given so much for me, essentially.
Oh, that's really
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the story of Andy's Man Club.
Oh mate, do you know what? I've never met such a nicer guy than you. It's like you're not fucking real. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, thank you.
So on to the next. So I mean, we've kind of established to a degree that you kind of on the whole back as it is at the minute. But future, what does it hold? Do you feel like you'll be able to kind of let go of that safety net and kind of progress and take it further? Or do you always think that you kind of, I don't know, keeping close grips to what you want? Where can we see you this year on?
So this year on, hopefully this time next year. I don't know. I like, and I remember talking to you when we had that gallery in the Corn Exchange. I like the whole idea of just having my work on show and not behind this social media curtain. I like having it out in public. I love doing stalls and things along those lines, and it's just nice just to meet people, like when I met you the first time, and seeing that reaction and having that conversation about my work. I'd love to just keep doing those. I know a lot of artists in Leeds, and I'm sure possibly both of you. There was the whole thing with Leeds Art Gallery, and they did the whole post of their sharing the work, and for people, artists who'd started during COVID and beyond. I'd love to just keep pushing it into galleries and that, and to go back to that idea of teaching. The reason being is because I like to use my artwork and my story as a way to teach. I teach a lot of art in school, and I'm one of the art leaders at work, and it's very much, look, kids, you don't have to be a multimillionaire or dead and buried to become a famous artist or to become a popular artist. You can do it. You just need to take your time and find something that clicks with you. And I try and use it as that almost relatable story. So a year down the line, I want to still be telling that story. I'd love to be able to work with a variety of schools and go around and almost do like workshops and show children my work and work with them and kind of give them that inspiration. That's where I see myself really, and that's one of my career paths, I think, and it's something I'm certainly pushing towards with the work. So that's where I'd love to be.
I believe you already had a sort of workshop, didn't you, this year? Was it in Ilkley, was it?
Yeah, so I was invited along to a typewriter convention in Ilkley, and it was such a bizarre. I didn't know what to expect of it. It was run by this lovely, lovely old couple, and they had a collection of like 100 typewriters. And in the middle of the village hall, they just put all these typewriters out, and people went around and got to essentially just have a play on these typewriters. And I was in the hall, just in the corner, and I had some of my work shown, and people were coming to talk to me, and I was just typing. I was doing a piece of work while I was there, and people were just watching me type. It was so strange. I had like a crowd behind me while I was just sat there, just
did you feel the
tapping away
pressure
on this keyboard. Yeah, I made so many mistakes. I was like doing wrong letters everywhere. I was like, oh God, but I just kept with it. I just kept going with the flow and trying to make it work. And then there were people who were having to go on these typewriters. I was showing them how I got into it. I was like drawing a love heart on a piece of paper and just type within that space and things along those lines. And it was brilliant. It was such a weird experience, like a live type almost. But it was strange, but I loved it. And it was great.
What sort of feedback did you get off people? Was it
I always loved the reaction to my work, and Andy, I know I always go back to yours because I think one of Andy's reactions was the best. You see it at two values, you think, oh, that's cool, he's made a picture on a typewriter, and then they take a second look at it and they realise, oh shit, that's actually word for word what that artist sings. And it's got that,
it's mind-blowing.
It's got that multi-dimension to the work, and you kind of see him do that double take. From a distance, it looks just like a picture. It looks just like, oh, he's made a nice picture. And then the closer you get, you realise that the space is filled with letters, and it's that double take I love. And I love watching that reaction, and I just sit there almost awkwardly like going, yeah. And then they just get talking about how it's done, and like yourself, how did you start? Because I'll admit, I do think it's a unique style of art. I haven't seen anyone do
100%.
it. So yeah,
it's kind of what artists are striving for. I think is to find that niche that no one's kind of yet filled. And personally, I always do think it does come about accidentally. I don't think you can ever put your mind to something and find that niche, but it's something that we're all looking for deep down, and it's lovely to see that someone locally as well has managed to find it.
Yeah.
No, it's inspiring, man.
The idea, it just came about by accident, just because I wanted to have a play on these machines, and now I'm obsessed. Every time I see typewriters, I have to sit and have a look, and I'm wanting to just build and buy as many as possible, just because I love these machines.
And some of the best things are, though, that come about by accident. It's what I class as, like, again, not religious in any way, but like a blessing. It's a blessing in disguise, so to speak, just kind of popping up and thinking, fucking hell, hang on a minute, I can roll with this, you know what I mean? So mate, definitely gifted, and definitely got what it takes. But a little spoiler on our part, in regards to kind of your future plans and wanting to get out on more exhibitions and stuff like that. So under the Rogue Gallery project, official invite here and now, you will be obviously one of our artists within our exhibition under the Rogue Gallery project next year is it April, Mouse?
First week of April.
Yes, so April. So that's all we can say for now. But you will be there side by side, so don't worry about that. So definitely on the cards. So right, starting to wrap things up now. So if you could go back and give yourself, younger self, some advice, what would it be?
Like you said, I'm not a massively religious person, but similar that believing in gifts, I believe the idea of everything happens for a reason. And I just go back to my younger self and just say, just be yourself. Don't try and fit in. Don't try and be someone you're not. Just do what you want to do, and just do what you love. I think that's what I'd say, and just stick with it, because looking back now, I am happy. I love what I'm doing. I love that I've got this opportunity. And I know younger me, that's all I was wanting, especially when I was at that time of my lowest. I just wanted wanted some worth to myself, and I felt like I needed that worth, and I couldn't find it. And I feel like I'm there. I'm getting close. Who knows? It could that rug could get pulled from underneath me, but where I am currently, it's just everything is happening for a reason. And when the world feels shit, I always look for those silver linings and look for what's next. Yeah.
Cool. So if you could give advice, so your advice now of what you're living through to any creative up and coming, what would it be?
I say this to my class, and I say this to classes I teach who say they want to be an artist. I think just be patient. Just practice and practice and practice, and again, just do what makes you happy. Don't make art a job. Don't make art a chore. Do it because you want to do it. If you're having a day where you're not feeling creative, like almost writer's block, don't force yourself. Just do it when you want to. If it's in the middle of the night, I've woke up in the middle of the night thinking, I've got a great idea. I'll just jump and I'll just doodle something, just draw something. I'll make a note on my phone. Just wait for the time is right. Don't force yourself, because if you put yourself in an uncomfortable position, you're not going to want to do that. So just find it and keep it a passion. Don't make it a job. Keep it as a love.
Yeah. Cool.
100%.
And for anybody that wants to see this absolute badass artwork, where can they find you?
So I'm mainly just Instagram. My Instagram is at Typedbyolly. So typed TYPED by, and then Olly is OLLY. That's where I mainly post. And
go find him. Go look him up.
You need to check it out. 100%.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, well, that's it. It's come to an end, and I must say, it's been an absolute pleasure. Top bloke, nicest bloke that I've ever spoke to and met. And if there's one thing that I can say to you, kind of wrapping this up, and I'm sure Mouse will agree, is fuck me, mate, but start believing in yourself, because what you've got, seriously, what you've got is fucking unbelievable, mate. And by the way, I should have thrown this in before. Congratulations, because you just recently proposed. That's right, innit?
Yeah.
So so your fiance, she's right. You need to start fucking taking this to the next level, mate, and believing in yourself, because what you've got is gifted, and it's phenomenal what you do. And it blags my fucking head, kind of looking at every time you release a new piece, thinking, how the fuck does he do it? How does he do it? It's just so, just believe in yourself, mate. But yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, and likewise, thank you for having me. And like I said, Rogue Gallery Project, it's giving that platform. So thank you so much for featuring me. And like he says, being two lads who are genuinely decent people and have a passion, and wanting to share that passion. So thank you too as well. You're part of everyone's journey on this thing, and I know I can speak for a lot of artists. We owe you a lot.
Thank you very much. No, it's all for the community, all for the love.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you.
So that's it for now from myself and Mouse. Any updates for future episodes, make sure you rate and follow on Spotify, or like and subscribe on YouTube. Also, you can find us on his Insta socials at WIArtistMouse, Broken Thugs Club, and Rogue Gallery Project. So that's it. Till next time, thanks for listening.